In December 2019, at Top 8 Vendetta organized by TPAL, Vitaly Laletin stood across the table from Levan, the only Levan. Both men had crashed their way through the event and the final was set. The result? A 6-0 sweep. On paper, it looked like total domination, but the match told a different story. In the very first round, Laletin stopped Levan dead in the center, forcing the champion to search again and again before finally breaking through Vitaly's pronator. As the rounds went on, Levan adjusted, took control and showed why he was the number one in the world. For most athletes, that kind of loss would mark the end, but for Laletin, it was only the beginning. At the time, he weighed just 120 kilos, light for someone standing 6'8". He had the frame of a super heavyweight, but not yet the mass. And that first round planted a seed in the minds of fans everywhere. If a 120 kilo Laletin could hold Levan in the middle, what would happen if he came back even bigger? Well, that's exactly what Vitaly started working towards. Fast forward to July 2021 in Bulgaria. Vitaly Laletin faced Krasimir Kostadinov in a top 8 super match. These two athletes had battled several times before, with victories traded back and forth. Krasimir is known for his incredibly strong hook, while Vitaly's style has always been about leveraging his length and his low hand top roll. This time, Vitaly came in bigger than ever, weighing more than 130 kilos, over 10 kilos more than in his match with Levan. And the result spoke for itself. In the first round, even before the straps, Krasimir is forced to slip very awkwardly under Vitaly's hand. We can see that he tried to force it into a hook, but immediately got cracked, so he bailed out with a slip. In the straps, Vitaly cracked Krasimir's wrist in the matter of seconds, and flash pinned him. The second, third and fourth round looked very similar. In the fifth round, Vitaly allowed Krasimir to work, tried to find some position in which he may be able to do some damage to Vitaly. But every time we could see that when he tried to hit sideways, his wrist simply wasn't there. And in the last round, Vitaly allowed Krasimir to go into a hook, but even there, Krasimir simply had no answer. So it was a clean 6-0 sweep for Vitaly, a very dominant, one-sided victory. But honestly, even though the match went heavily in favor of Vitaly, it was kind of expected by some, as many saw the fight as a mismatch. Vitaly came in weighing 20 kilos more than Krasimir. Furthermore, his long forearm and a low hand top roll made him an ideal counter to Krasimir's hook. Still, it was a powerful show of force. After the dominant win over Krasimir, Vitaly Laletin continued his journey. By 2022, the Siberian giant appeared at the AMC arm wrestling tournament, proving he was above most top super heavyweights. But there were some killers waiting for him. At AMC 1, which took place on May 28, 2022, he faced tough competition, including the Siberian bear, Dmitry Silayev. Dmitry and Vitaly faced in the finals, and this is how the match went. Off the go, Dmitry put a massive surge to the side, top rolling Vitaly. Vitaly's wrist immediately cracked back and his arm went down. Vitaly tried his best to at least regain his pronator, but on that day he was no match for Silayev. These two would meet again at AMC 2 on August 27, 2022. And here Vitaly showed his growth, defeating Silayev in a very dominant fashion. However, he would later lose to Zaurpay Zulayev and Ferit Osmanli. Zaurpay Zulayev flash pinned him, which was seen as an unbelievable show of force. With Ferit Osmanli, he had an absolute war. Off the go, Vitaly and Ferit both tried to top roll each other, and in the first few seconds it seemed like Vitaly would get the upper hand. But Ferit Osmanli's riser proved to be better than Vitaly's. Vitaly eventually started pulling with his riser down, and Ferit started to gain more and more of Vitaly's wrist. Eventually Vitaly's wrist cracked back completely, and he switched to a flop wrist press. In that position it seemed like he may be able to get the pin, but then he lost due to a foul. With these losses, Vitaly placed third. And such a result was tough to see for the Serbian giant, but that only motivated him to keep improving. And in October of 2022, Vitaly would make his mark on the global stage at King of the Table 5, facing Dave Chaffee in a high-profile main card match. The match was an incredible war, and to this day is seen as one of the best matches to ever happen at King of the Table.